look at the schedule right now. I'll just quickly run through it if you're not looking at the schedule. So week 1, we are hosting the Ravens. Week 2, we got Bengals. Week 3, Falcons. Week 4, Chargers. Week 5, Saints. Bye week 6. Then we go to week 7. We got Niners. Week 8, we got Raiders. Week 9, we got the Bucks. Week 10, we got Broncos. Week 11, Bills. Week 12, Panthers. Week 13, Raiders. Week 14, Chargers. Week 15, Browns. Week 16, Texans. Week 17, Steelers. And we finish off the season with the Denver Broncos for the second time. So just based on initially looking at the schedule, I know we're going to get into most excited about, where the schedule makers went wrong later on in the show. But just based off your initial reactions when you look at the schedule, what stands out to you as far as your overall takes from what you see from the schedule?
What stands out to me? I'll tell you what stands out to me is that this is not going to be an easy road. This is some very, very high caliber teams that we are playing. And so I see some teams on here who have gotten better from the draft, what they have acquired in free agency as well. But I do see that this is the task that the Chiefs need to destroy. Okay, if you want this three-peat, you're going to have to earn it this year. There's no question about it. And so we come straight out the gate, man. We're talking about the Ravens, then we got the Bengals, right? I mean, it's just, and so our two nemesis pretty much in the AFC that we're thinking of, right? Joe Burrow, Lamar, what are you going to do with those guys? And we've heard people talk noise and mess online. I think you even had somebody come at you, Marcus, talking about, stop tough talking him a little bit, and he trying to flex his muscles on, on YouTube, on the comments. I'm like, man, come on, man. Like, look, if you like your guys, you like your guys, whatever. You know what I mean? So neither one of us are playing. None of us are throwing a ball. We ain't making a tackle, but we do love our teams. And I think we have a superior team to a lot of the teams that we're playing this year. Every team that I've seen out there is beatable. I don't fear anyone. No one at all. But it is going to be a tough road. Everybody's going to be, I'm telling you, they're going to be shooting for us. And so we got to be ready for it. I think we will be. I think we're up to the task. So that's the first thing that jumps out to me, man, is how challenging this schedule really is. So,
yeah, no, I agree. It is, and right off the gate, I think is what it stands out the most. You got Baltimore and Cincinnati. I think those two, right, that combination, and you JD playing Atlanta. I know Atlanta's got a new quarterback over there. He's recovered from the Achilles, but we're going to Atlanta and we're playing that team who actually, I mean, they weren't that bad last year. If they even had like marginal quarterback play, that team's in the playoffs. Right. They just didn't have that last year. Now you're bringing a guy, Kirk Cousins, who all he does is he's a I would say a little more glorified game manager, and he can put the team on his back. He does make a few mistakes here and there. That game manager, like Alex Smith, didn't. So he does take more chances, I would say. But that's a good quarterback to have in that system over there, and they have weapons. So that's right at the gate. I think you're right. Coming out, it's a very tough schedule from the jump. So I do agree in that sense, JD. Mm-hmm. My thing, I'll let you get to it after this, but the thing that stands out to me more so than anything else, you talk about the front half of that schedule, how hard it is. I'm looking at the back half of the schedule being very, very easy. Not easy, but because I never want to say in the NFL, JD, I know you hate when people say things are easy. It's never easy. But just looking at the teams that we're playing, so we finished off the season, last 7 games. We got Carolina, Raiders, Chargers, Browns, Houston, Pittsburgh, and Denver. Of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams, 4 of the 7 teams didn't make the playoffs last year. So that's 4 of the 7 teams that were playing at the final stretch of the season after we go through the gauntlet of the first half of going against Buffalo, San Francisco, Baltimore, Cincinnati. Once that's out of the way, we were talking about majority of the teams didn't even make the playoffs last year. And obviously it's a new year, so we don't know what this team's going to be by that point. But just looking at it from right now, these are teams at Carolina. We don't know how Bryce Young is going to look this year. We don't know how Las Vegas is going to look, who's going to be their quarterback. No one knows. And then Chargers, that's a completely different staff. They cut pretty much everybody on that offense. So there's going to be a lot of retooling over there, and that could be at least a 1-year rebuild for what Harbaugh wants to build over there. So that's the thing that really stands out to me. Pittsburgh, you can never count out Tomlin. They made the playoffs last year, but again, new quarterback situation over there. Is it Fields? Is it Russ Wilson? Who knows? But I mean, by that point, it's the second to last game of the season, so they probably know who their guy is by that point. But I think that's what stands out to me: the back half of the season being pretty chill, I would say, as the kids say.
Chill with 4 playoff teams, man. That shows you how hard our schedule is.
Yeah, for sure.
4 to 7 did not make the playoffs.
4 to 7 did not make the playoffs.
Bills,
of the last 7. So
I was doing half and half.
Yeah, the back 7.
Back 7. Okay.
4 to 7 did not make the playoffs.
But if you split it up half and half, it's 4 and 4.
Yeah,
brutal.
That's why I that's why I picked the 7.
Marcus did one of those ESPN stats.
Yeah, I know.
Those bottom line ESPN stats.
Out of the 3, they lost 2. And I mean,
if you take the last 3 games and the back half of the third quarter, they are the best defense in the league.
Right. Yeah. Listen,
the back 7, not back half. The back 7.
Still, though, I mean, it's a hard schedule. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just obvious, right?
So, Jay, what are your thoughts on the back 7 being,
Well, I think we understand this is the NFL. Nothing is easy, and so what I do see of that, the 7 teams that I'm looking at, you have very capable coaches, some really good coaches that do a good job of getting guys prepared, especially in the second half of the season. So those are the guys you really don't want to see, like a Mike Tomlin, right? And you had to see Sean Payton. So we're talking about, man, the Texans. I mean, we're talking about some heavy hitters there. Cleveland's got a really good team. We know they got a legit squad. And so these guys, and I mean, the Chargers, you got Harbaugh there now. And I think I sent out a tweet about Harbaugh. I'm just sitting in the restaurant just watching the game, and I'm just like, look at Jim just go at it. He's going crazy on the sideline and throwing stuff, and his headset is coming off. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna love this guy to be back. So now he's back in our division. I love everything about it. He's I know the Harbaughs. I know John. I know his dad better than I know Jim. I met Jim a few times. We actually had him come up and spoke at our Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame. His dad is like a legend, coaching at Western Kentucky University. Great guy. They're a wonderful family. Just some really good-hearted people. People that you want in your corner when you're playing with them and whatnot. That's the type of people they are. So when I seen Jim, I'm like, Jim, we know he's successful with San Fran. I mean, he's taking them up there, right? With that crew that he had. We got Randy Moss played for San Fran. I'm like, there's Randy Moss, right? Still Moss folks out there. But then also we know what he brings from Michigan, and he's ready to come here. And look, we could talk about rebuilding in a year. He's trying to win right now. That's his style.
Yeah.
He comes from a family that we're attacking immediately. We're not trying to wait 1 or 2 years down the road. I came to take a team to the championship, beat the Chiefs, because we're in that division right now. And so when I'm looking at this schedule, the last 7, man, I mean, Vegas is going to be ready. Antonio Pierce, hey, man, I respect Antonio a lot. He's going to have those guys rocking. You've seen how they was playing for him last year. We lost to those guys. So this is not going to be easy task for us. I think just looking at the teams in itself, what we have as far as talent-wise, I think we have better talent in certain positions than they do, okay? And that's going to be the challenge, right? We're matching up with each other, Joe against Joe, man against man, and I'm looking at it. I just think that we went out. We got Spags, we got Andy, we got Patrick Mahomes, we got the MVP. We know who we have. We got these guys who are the elite of the elite in the NFL, right? Travis Kelce, Chris Jones on the other side. But it's everybody else around there picking up. So I think we'll be able to do that, man. So what do y'all think about, what I said?
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think that's why I picked the last 7 to talk about it being the worst or whatever. Like, the easy backup comparatively to if you look at the first half of the season, because I mean it's night and day. I mean, the gauntlet we're going by. The second half, there's a lot of question marks there. Yes, they have good coaches, but there's still some question marks there, whether it be who's their quarterback. Because the Raiders, Pierce is there. The team rallied around him. Is it going to be Minshew? Is it going to be O'Connell? Also, too, with the way we kind of let our guard down against them last year, and it kind of woke us up for the Super Bowl. I feel like every Raider game next year, we're going to be on high alert for those games because of how that Christmas Day game went last year. Cleveland, Watson, I mean, he's yet to play a full season with them yet. So, I mean, what's going to happen with that? And their defense was great last year, but I mean, there's so many question marks surrounding it. They're also saying there's potential that if Cleveland doesn't make the next step this year, they could go away from their head coach too. So there's going to be that kind of narrative also in there as well. Houston, Stroud, second year. There's always potential of a sophomore slump. I don't think it's going to happen with him, but there's always a potential of that. Pittsburgh, Tomlin, there's been rumblings of him possibly leaving Pittsburgh over the last few years. Every year they always say that. I don't think it's going to happen. But with the Russ Wilson, Justin Fields thing, that's interesting. That whole mix there is interesting to me. And at Denver, we'll see how Bo Nix looks. I need to see what Bo Nix looks like to man that ship over there. And then a lot of changeover on the defense as well with that team. So I do hear what you're saying, especially with Harbaugh. There's a lot of good coaches on the end, but Carolina, they have a new head coach as well. Bryce Young didn't look good last year. So there's so many things on that end of the schedule where it's like it's question marks there. But I do agree. At the end of the day, good coaching and the players and the vets overcome all. So I do agree in that respect. Whether it's easy or not, we have the fellas and the team to overcome whatever they were thrown at.
And the best team arguably is the Texans, and we know how the NFL works. I mean, Stroud's a stud, but 1 year with defensive coordinators to break down his film, he might have some sophomore slumpy in him,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's not gonna be, it's weird to say it's not gonna be as easy as his rookie season, but it's not. You give a whole year of film on a guy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So I look at it like this, okay? And I know sophomore slump is a thing. I actually was kind of affected by it, and I'm gonna tell you how it happened. This is kind of what happens with your sophomore slump: is that you have relatively success your first year, right? And I'll speak for me. And you've kind of like, all right, I understand what the NFL is all about. Okay, this is what I want to do. This is who I want to become. And so you bring a little bit of this arrogance with you. And so what happens is if you start to struggle because you're trying to press to be even better than what you were, that you become critical on some of the things that you do. Maybe question your decision making, and it's like, okay, maybe everything's not as crisp. Well, it's a different type of pressure that you have on you, and there's now you kind of change your mindset up into the realm of like, now I've arrived, now I'm here, right? And so something happens, and I think Stroud is good that he has a coach who's played before, who understands like having a balance to yourself helps out a lot. Not to mention everybody else he has around him too, as far as wide receivers. They can make him look good if he makes bad throws. That's the thing about it. Hey, look, just throw it up to us. We'll go get it, right? Nico Collins, hey, throw it. We'll make the catch. That's going to help out tremendously. Not to mention you got Joe Mixon, you got the what's the name behind you too, Damon Pierce. So he has guys that are around him that can help protect him a little bit from that sophomore slump. But in just kind of going through, I think just kind of looking at the schedule, Carolina is the one I think you could kind of like, okay, these guys are going to take a while to get there, right? Everybody else, Las Vegas Raiders, they're going to be licking their chops. Every chance they get to hit and prove that they're better than us, they're going to try to do. And they're going to do, I'm telling you, they're going to be gnawing, biting at your ankles, knees. I mean, they're going to get in people's faces. That's Antonio Pierce. They're going to embody who he is in every single snap and play, right? That's what he was telling them during Christmas Day. That he was telling them this. I want y'all to play like me. When y'all go out there, we are not giving them anything. We're not letting them take a break. We're in their face all the time. We're bringing pressure. We're hitting them. I don't care if you go by them, you don't touch them. You touch them anyway. That's his mentality. And so imagine having that from day one, from the jump. They're starting straight in training camp, what they're going to be doing, okay? So they come in with a whole type of vigor in this whole madness, what they're going to be doing, especially for the game. Same thing with the Broncos. Look, Bo Nix, I've heard reports that he's slanging the ball out there. That's what I heard. I heard he's been doing a hell of a job. I'm like, dang, God. I mean, they talking about how great his arm strength is like that. He's the real deal. So we've seen success in college. We know he's a good quarterback. he's with probably one of the better coaches in the league as far as quarterback wise. If not, I would even say he's probably right up there with Andy as far as getting guys developed. Sean Payton, I know Sean. He was a quarterback coach when I was up here in Philly, so he's been doing this thing for a long time. He knows his stuff, and so this is going to be a challenging schedule, man. I'm telling you. And look, we're every single week we got to go in and bloody people's noses. Every single week. That's our mentality has to be, because if we want this three-peat, we cannot let up at no point. We cannot take anybody for granted. And we need to understand that every single week is a battlefield, more than what it was last year, right? People didn't really come. They didn't see us coming. We had bad receivers, right? They talked about everybody, butter hands, and they're not really catching it. So the Chiefs had a down year. Then everybody started looking past us, right? Every single person that we played in the playoffs, they're going to beat the Chiefs. Miami, Bills, Ravens, they're gonna crush them. And so what Patrick did is, boop, pick one off, boop, pick two off, boop, pick three off. We're in the Super Bowl. Oh, there's no way San Fran's going to be able to beat Patrick Mahomes and or the San Fran. There's no way Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to beat those guys. We got more firepower over here. Didn't happen. And then before you know it, we holding it up. Holding the trophy up like it should. And it came to the place where it needed to come.
Yep. This
year, completely different, man. And I hope the guys don't feel the pressure. This is the thing, man. I mean, this is a three-peat. So it's never been done before. It's almost like we had to go to like Miami Dolphins. Every year they're looking at who's going to be the undefeated team, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to be this? So the Chiefs have the chance to go down in history as that team that the only team to be able to have a three-peat in the NFL, right?
Yep.
Since its inception. So I just, man, this is going to be a good one. I'm excited, as y'all can tell, man. I could talk about this all day.
How much bigger can our target get,
Yes, exactly. Right.
It's pretty massive already.
It is. It is. Not to mention, man, all the mess around us, right? All this stuff is going on around us. And they're going to, look, players are going to talk smack on the field. Oh, what do we? Okay, Rashid Rice, what is he doing? Is he out there driving fast? Is he? They're going to be saying everything.
Yeah.
So we just can't buy into it, man. It's got to be an unbelievable level of focus and preparation when you're playing these teams, man. Because like I said, man, it's not easy. I like to say, hey, the Chiefs are going to go undefeated, but I'm looking at this. There's going to be some teams, man. Shoot, we know San Fran. Come on. I'm looking at this thing, man. I had to say that we probably have the hardest schedule, if not one of the hardest schedules. I don't even know. I haven't seen everybody else's. You know how everybody does, where the schedule lies and difficulty. I don't even know where we start, where we at. But I know the way I'm looking at it right now, this ain't an easy schedule by no means.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what where they have as a strength of schedule going into this season. Teja, so what are your takeaways from
you know what?
Yeah.
Well, first, let me say that I love that I'm a Chiefs fan. Okay. I'm thankful to be a Chiefs fan. But I hate that my team is being used as bait to buy every single streaming service known to man. Here's your Christmas gift. Open it up. It's the Chiefs game. Oh, wait, you have to get Netflix for that. I also feel like we're the top performer at the office, who everyone just thinks is like this machine that just will not stop. So the owners of the company just throw everything on our plate because they know we'll just deliver every time. So, of course, the clients love us. We have a really important Netflix account. Who are we going to put on it? Well, Chiefs, they're asking for you by name. So the account's going to go to you guys. Oh, okay. A team has to play on 6 different networks. I think it's the Chiefs because you guys always come through. We need 3 games in 10 days. Who can we trust? Let's give it to the Chiefs. They always come through for us.
Yeah.
We need a team to play 6 out of 7 days of the week. Who do we do? Who go to for that? Well, let's just go for the Chiefs. So I think it's a lot of and I get it, right? We have a lot of different demographics rooting for us now. We have a lot of new fans that we brought into the NFL.
Mhm.
It's a lot of responsibility. And it's just a lot to shoulder. And it's awesome. I love being that team that everybody loves and loves to hate.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But at the same time, man, sometimes I just want to I want to go back to the days of tuning in and watching my team at 1 p.m. You know what I mean? Like what happened to that? You look at this, it's like it's our schedule is like the clock. We play it every single hour, like on the clock, and it's just it's cool, but at the same time, like you seriously have to be like you have to have like 4 different streaming services to be able to watch us play, 4 to 5, I think.
Yeah.
On top of the ticket if you don't live in Kansas City. So at the same time, you'll get a lot of the local games because that's just how it goes. We get a lot of like the national games that are on television, but then all the prime timers, you have to pay for all that, which again, I'm not going to complain because I love being that team, but it's just that is a downside. That's one of the main takeaways I saw from it. I was like, man, what is all this, dude? Like, I have to actually being a normal NFL fan, you don't need to like set a calendar around when your team plays. You just know it's on Sunday. For us, it's like every day of the week there's a different day we're playing. Every week, I mean. So it's just that part was a little annoying to me. But you know, if that comes along with winning, then I'll take it.
Look, man, we're victims of our own success. We understand this, right? And the NFL has learned and understood, like you said, you're absolutely right. We brought in more fan base, probably more haters now. More people are hating on the Chiefs. So they know how to monetize and prioritize. You know, let's profit off these guys. Okay. Let's put the big bad, the Grim Reaper out there. Okay. Let's put Travis Kelce that everybody hates because he drinks beer at graduations and he's dating the biggest pop star in the history of entertainment, right?
Yep.
And let's hate him because of his politics and his things on fire. So he's the antithesis of everything that sometimes people call whatever holy, if you will, right? I don't know. Whatever the reason people hate on the Chiefs, and I get it. People want to see new winners. I got tired. I was the first one to admit I got tired of seeing New England win, being in the playoffs. I was absolutely fed up with it.
Yep.
Like, yeah, Lee. Anybody else but these guys. Okay. And I had a cousin who was, he was right up there from Massachusetts. And he would just sit back and just glow. Boy, he just loved it. He loved it. And I hated the smug look he had on his face. So we're those guys now. We're those guys, fellas. That's who we are. We're the smug looking champion Chiefs. That's what it is. Okay. And so.
Are you a big fan of the movie Stand By Me, JD?
I am.
There's a scene in that story he tells where Lardass gets the entire place to start puking on each other. Remember that? You remember he's just sitting back with his arms crossed, really pleased with himself with throw up everywhere. That's pretty much like me for the past few seasons.
Yeah. You're just looking at his work.
With like blueberry throw up everywhere.
Oh my gosh!
But he's just so happy with his result, his product.
Wonderful scene.
That's how I feel when looking at our YouTube comments when we have Ravens and Bengals. When we have Ravens and Bengals fans commenting on our stuff after beating them and showing the receipts like we did last year.
Man, I mean they on it fast, and I'm amazed at how many, like when we do our stuff, how many Raven fans or Cincinnati fans coming on mentions. Just immediately get on. Oh, crazy. Yeah, it is. It was like, hey, man, just relax, calm down a little bit. You know what I mean? So,
and we were very respectful. We spoke highly of Baltimore in our show. I thought for being two Chief guys who beat them when everyone was picking against us last year. You and I were very, very, very nuanced, right there, and objective with the whole Ravens Chiefs Week 1 game. So anybody was mad about that. There were some Ravens fans who loved what we said. But there were some who came at us like, okay, you know what, like. I get it's your team, but like we were very objective with that whole thing. We spoke highly of Lamar. We didn't trash anybody on that team. We just said you lost some guys, and like when I mentioned they lost Geno Stone, the guy who led the league in interceptions last year. Like, well, he was a backup. Why are you bringing him up? Well, he was a backup regardless. He still produced enough to lead the league in interceptions. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. You lost that guy. So just because you plug and play anybody there, I mean, it's just you can't win with people sometimes.
So I'm looking over here a little bit of the chat, man, and so man, everybody's, I love it. 14-3. Gary has 14-3. Lewis has 12-5, 13-4. I mean, I think to me that's a good indication. I think that's what we're going to be, right? I think we're going to be somewhere around there. I don't think we lose anything more than 5. I haven't said that, for quite some time now.
Yeah.
Just because of the caliber guys that we have, we pretty much we got some new pieces, certain places, of course, and some questions, a little bit of questions. I seen one reporter and she was saying like the Chiefs don't have any holes anywhere. I'm just like, not necessarily true, right? There are some concerns, right? Chief concerns and some concerns that we talked about that I think should be noted, right? I'm just not going to give and say the Chiefs are perfect in what they're doing. We talked about the defensive line, which might be somewhat of a challenge for us, right? Because Charles Minna, who is not back yet, we still got to wait for King Felix, how he's going to look. We got Mike Dana, of course. We brought him back, which is a great choice. And then we got Karlaftis. So we got guys that can come up. Are they going to be able to hold up until Charles gets back? Same thing. We got the best defensive tackle in the league, and Chris Jones. The other guys that's right there beside him, they need to show up as well, right? That's reality of it. We know we got a good corner, all-pro guy in McDuffie, okay? We have him. The question is, I think Jalen Watson, I think he's a guy that's going to be able to come in. Joshua Williams, he's a guy that's going to be able to come in. I think these guys are going to be able to do it. Still a little question, can they do it consistently, right? Can they give what Snead did? I think they could. People are going to test it out. I guarantee it. They will test it immediately. Stay away from McDuffie. Let's go to the young guys, okay, who has less experience.
Oh, they'll
less
get tested.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. So that's going to be some of the things. Offensively, right, left tackle, all right, who they going to have? So we got 2 guys, second-year player, a rookie over here at left tackle. Like I said before, right tackle, guy who had the most, penalties, offensive lineman in the league. That's going to be some of the question. And I'm seeing other people, same thing. Oh, well, we got Pacheco, yeah, but, I never really heard people talk about the durability of Pacheco until really now, the concern of it. I think Pacheco's going to be fine. I don't think people are as optimistic about the backup as I am. Look, hey, I like CEH. I think CEH will be a good change of pace. Other people are not okay with that. Now, I'll let y'all can tell me what y'all think. I see Teja over there. So, Teja, I know, I don't know where you sit with it, but I'll let you talk about it. But other than that, I think we, running back, we'll get another guy, of course. I think our line is kind of straight. So, go ahead, man. What you think?
Oh, I told you the other day you were saying Amani Bailey reminds you of Priest Holmes, and he thought you got a good laugh at it.
A little. Well, I mean, remind me of. Come on,
Remind you of, yeah. I'm about to spit out my water. I'm like, what? Priest Holmes?
I mean, his strengths, when you read his scouting report, they are a lot of Priest Holmes' strengths.
Okay.
Like, Priest didn't have Priest had a good burst.
Yes.
And good at getting away, but he wasn't like a long stride sprinter. Like he didn't have the Jamal Charles long speed. But he can get away, he can accelerate past people and get away from people.
Oh yeah, outrun them. Yeah, there's hardly too many people I haven't seen. I don't even think. Shoot, Priest got out. I didn't really see a whole lot of people run him down. Larry definitely not. Okay, Jamal definitely not. But Priest was one of those. Like once he got to the second level, couple cuts, he's gone. He started that little Priest gallop. That's
yeah.
So
they're around the same size. They both have great vision, and they're both hard as hell to bring down.
Okay.
Like Priest is a little grease pig. They used to call him. Little greased pig.
Oh yeah, he's silky, man. He'd make people miss. He was.
You couldn't grab him. That jersey was so tight.
The Joker's must have made it that way. That's kind of what it looks like right here to me. With the Bulls now. So hey.
But the thing we're talking about CEH before we move on to the next topic. I think that hopefully we talk about this. And I don't know if they will at this point, 5th year in. Hopefully they actually utilize him to his strengths now that McKinnon doesn't look like he's going to be back on the team. And it looks like we could actually use him more out of a passing kind of back out of the backfield with McKinnon not being there now. Hopefully they kind of go back and kind of utilize those strengths, because what he was amazing at in college was being able to catch the ball out of the backfield as well, as well as running out of the backfield. But his one of his strong suits was being able to catch. They provided LSU offense a little bit of something outside that wasn't the receivers they had there, Chase or Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
He provides a little bit more to that offense, and that was catch the ball in the backfield. And hopefully they can utilize that. Hopefully Andy can finally whip up some Brian Westbrook stuff. But what are your thoughts on CH now in year 5?
I mean, I'm not enamored with CEH. I'm not gonna lie. I think he can fill a role. And I think the lack of our running back addition speak to how much faith and how much love we have in Pacheco. Really, I don't want him to wear down. I don't want it to become a durability issue. So we might have to use CEH a good amount, right? Or maybe one of the other guys step up in training camp and look great. So yeah, I mean, I want him to be effective all season. So yeah, as in Pacheco. So CEH maybe has to get a little more of those pass catching downs.
I hope so.
And maybe he revamped his career a little bit last year, right? He didn't have a whole lot of wear and tear on him. He got a little bit more confidence back. He was able to make some good moves, had some good games for us. Stepped up, jumped over that one guy. I'm like, okay, this is what I like to see. And that's confidence. And so maybe he turns into the guy that you want to rely on.
You
right?
want him to be.
Absolutely, yeah. So I want everybody to be wrong about him. I think I'm right about CH. I like his game. I think if you do add that element on to like throwing the ball to him out the backfield, Marcus, he becomes absolutely dangerous. That is vital. They say that Carson's still got. Okay, now I've been looking at this. I know we talked about him on Monday. He could be a guy that he could do either one, right? He could be the fullback, he could be running back. He's got some talent that he could tote the rock if he need to. He could be that guy because he plays special teams. He's one of those guys that will give you something. Okay, he's not just your typical fullback. He actually has skill set. He can make guys miss. He can get you some yards, some tough yards. So he's a tough kid, and I like that. I like it because he is physical, and he can catch the ball off the backfield. So he's a good mix. I got to give some attention to my guy because he's been saying it. Green Man, I am a rugby fan. Lou RZ, LRZ, Lewis Reese Zammit, LRZ. Where are we gonna put him? Now he could be the other guy. He could be somebody to get the ball to. Marcus, where you turn here?
I don't want to rain on Green Man's parade here if he hasn't watched our shows in the last few weeks. Green Man, I know he's a badass at rugby. I'm not taking anything away from that, from LRZ. I hope he's a badass. I want to see it in pads. I want to see him do it in training camp. I want to see him do it in preseason before I can say, hey, he's going to be a badass for us. Because, and the thing I love about a rugby guy, he can tackle. He can do a lot of things that special teamers do. And I don't think a lot of people think that, he's going to come in and be this Dante Hall type of guy. It's like, no, I am not expecting that. I'm expecting him to maybe contribute. Well, I mean, Dante, but people think he's going to be this amazing return man. And
I'm like, for people saying that, calm down a little bit,
Yeah, I just want to see him do it when it's not just a jugs machine kicking the ball to him. I want to see actual punter kicking the ball into it in real time. Heck, I want to see it in training camp. I just want to see it happen then when there's actually some stuff
live action.
Live action. I want to see that. I don't want to see it on air or just catching jugs punts. So yeah, I want to see him tackle, return, do all things in preseason. Then we can talk about him potentially being a difference maker offensively and special teams. before we
Yeah.
can even talk about that. That's all. So Green Man, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I hope you're right, dude.
We're not going to ask him to kick. We got guys for that. So we're not going to ask him unless it's a fake. We do a fake maybe, and you can set it up. I could use it, something like that, right? Like put him in. Oh, fake run. Let him kick it if it's not something too hard. So who
Yeah.
said, Gary Howler said Larry Johnson had one good year. What? Gary, come on, man. One good year?
Gary.
Come on, Gary.
Ooh, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Yeah.
LJ
LJ gets a bad rap because he tweets stuff that people don't agree with and just think it's kind of a little wacky sometimes. But at the end of the day, you can't take away what he was, and he was a phenomenal running back. I mean, he was amazing. And yeah, he didn't have one good year. And his first year, he wasn't even the starting guy until like week 8.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't even starting back to like week 7, week 8 when he was finally getting the full load his first year where he showed flashes in the league. So like LJ was a different animal. He was a beast.
LJ, so I'm gonna give you his stats. One good year. So he came in for a few of the games where he had 581 yards. The very next year, 1,750 yards. The next year, 1,789 yards. LJ was at a time before all this started happening, like some of the things off the field and whatnot. LJ was on pace to become the all-time leading rusher in Chiefs history.
Yep.
And he was going to like absolutely decimate everything. And from from some sources is they didn't want that to happen because they didn't want him to be the face of the Chiefs as all-time leading rusher when you had issues and problems. I'm just going to say that. Okay,
interesting.
That's what I heard. I'm just, I don't know how true that is. I think that it's like, wow, you want this guy, but to me, LJ was an absolute beast.
Absolute beast.
Absolute beast.
John Clifford, I believe the quote was, "Take the diapers off."
Yes.
Right?
Yes. That's what Ramil said.
Yep.
Yeah. Time to grow up. We're meeting you. Time to grow up. Take the diapers off. You want to be a kid out here? Yeah, baby, take out the diaper. So Larry took offense to that. And as soon as he got in, that joker ran hard. And we see what we got at Penn State, man. So
yeah. So no Larry Johnson slander on this show. We all love LJ on this show. He was amazing in Kansas City. Anything he did outside of his career, we're not talking about that. We're talking about what he did on the football field in the lines, and he's a badass.
Strictly on the
Strictly football.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.